Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at ADA. This is going to be a lower time frame video. Make sure you check out the macro video up above for more context on the moves that we're actually looking at here. Okay, so let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so what we're looking out for is that potentially we could either have this as a bigger 5-wave sequence to the downside, in which case what we're looking for is this as a 4th wave, looking for a 5th wave to the downside and then seeing continuation, which could look to push us down towards this 1841 to this 1650 level. So this is potentially looking for that bigger breakdown. We're treating this as a 5-wave move, looking to hit this target area here of this 20 cent to the 1604. Now, we could also potentially argue we have a completed move here, so we need to be on the lookout for that possibility that we could see a reversal to the upside. So within the bullish case, what we'd actually be saying is that this is just an ABC pattern, and what we could actually see is the potential to actually form either something like this, where we form this as an A, B, and a C to the upside, where we're looking for this as a flat correction. So some of the higher targets here for a expanding flat would be this 63 cent to this 49.59. Alternatively, a running flat target would actually be here towards this 42.46 region. So going to be keeping an eye on this. If we do see 5 waves to the upside here, we develop something like this: 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5, and then we see 3 waves back down and we've managed to hold this low, then we can potentially look for continuation up. If however we form 5 waves up and then we start to develop 5 waves down, this would align with the idea of this actually turning into a bigger flat correction. So we need to just be on the lookout for this potential that if we do actually look to push up here in this C wave, it's only confirmed by the retracement whether we are actually looking to trend up or whether this would actually just be a C wave. If it is an A wave, we can look to trend up, but we need to hold this low. Okay, so now we're going to get into the lower recounting here. The way I'm going to discuss this first is actually talking about the possibility that we have a 4th wave here. Now, the reason that I'm not too keen on this as a 4th wave is because of the fact that it actually has come up so high. We have this 618 sitting here at this 3107, but the wave 2 would have been quite a shallow move if this is the case. So I am allowing it as still for the time being, but I wouldn't really want to see us get too much higher than this 31 cent region. If we do look to push up here one more time, you know, if we start breaking back above that, it could actually indicate that we are looking for the bullish count. Now, invalidation for this actually comes by crossing this zone here of this 34.85. As long as we actually remain below that, we could still potentially look at this as a 4th, because in time comparison, this is still within the parameters of looking at this as a 4th wave compared to that wave 2. So the idea here is that we'll be looking at this move to the upside as a corrective pattern. Now, if that is the case, what we could be arguing is that we could be looking to have actually completed here, where this is just A, B, C. Now, if we do actually look to move down deeper here, what we could then find is that this move could effectively turn into a bigger W, an X, and a Y. Now, I would prefer this to be simple. If it is going to, something like a double zigzag would make a lot of sense here if we're going to see something like this play out. So what I'm on the lookout for here is that if we do look to break down here, what we could see is a 3-way move to the downside, looking to target this 26.98 to this 23.61 level. Now, an interesting zone to me would actually be this golden pocket, which is sitting here towards this 24.96 to this 24.70. As well as that, you know, potentially higher up here, we have this 50%, which would be this 25.95, which would bring us back into these previous levels that we have over here. So you're keeping an eye on this. To be honest with you, it would make a lot of sense if we do come down here to actually break this low point here and actually look to fill some of this area that you know, we haven't revisited, which would make sense coming down into some of these lower levels here. So gonna have to keep an eye on that if we do look to break down in that way. Now, if we are looking at this as a completed move, we need to just be aware that it is possible it could just be ABC, and then we have that 5th wave down. At the moment, we don't have any indication of that. And really, we need to also just be careful of that bearish scenario, because the 1-to-1 hasn't been met yet. If this is a C wave, 1-to-1 would actually be up here at this 32.85, but we have hit that 0.618. Some other areas of interest, if we do look to continue to push up here, would be this 854 here at this 31.61 to this 31.05 region. Potentially bring us back into some structure higher up here. So going to be keeping an eye on that. If we are looking at that possibility of a breakdown here, what we'd be looking for effectively would be something along these lines. So either we look at this as a B, and a C, in which case we could actually be looking for continuation to the downside. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like this, looking to actually push down into this range here of this 121, which is sitting at this 28.67, to this 1382, which is sitting at this 28.01. Alternatively, if we do see this C wave push down here towards this 1618 level, which is sitting at this 27.60, which also would make a lot of sense, looking to target out that low. We'd need to be cautious though, because if we get something like this as A, B, and C, and we come down to this 1618, need to be cautious of this level here of this 28.67, which would be a retest of these lows. If we do see something like this, this could actually give us a 5-wave move off these highs, which would then either mean that effectively this structure would become an A wave, or A wave 1 would get a B wave up, and then we'd be looking for that C wave down. Now that would tie into that idea that this is a ABC for this X wave if we're looking at this corrective count. But if we get a deeper move down, it could actually mean that we're looking for that more bearish option, where we're going to look to break down for that 5th wave target, which is looking at this area here of this 20 cent 36 to this 17.95. So it's going to be key here. You know, we are also approaching this channel which we were within, which is currently sitting above us towards this 31.48. Would be mindful that if we see a move up into this, there is potential for rejection. Okay, so now let's go over the bullish count here, where we're saying that potentially we've completed a C wave into this low here already, where we have this as a B, C into here for an A with a triangle. So this, if this is a triangle in here, this means that we cannot extend from there, because what we can't do is have a triangle on a wave 2, so then we wouldn't be able to count this as 1 2 1 2. So because of that fact, this would change how we look at this structure, and this could actually be a C wave completed despite coming down to this 1618 level. Now if we are looking at this in this way, what we'd be looking for is effectively the potential to break to the upside. So this would be our bullish count here. We'd be treating this as a wave 1 2, and then we'd be looking at this as another 1 2. Now if this is the case, we can argue that we potentially already come down to this 382. We haven't quite hit it, but there is potential that we have come down enough here within this structure that we could be saying that this blue wave 2 is here. But I'm just being a little bit cautious here. I'd like to see this extend out a little bit more, and I still think that there's a potential that this is A, B, and then we see that C wave come back down and look to potentially retest this low. We're gonna have to keep an eye on, but this 2836 would actually be a 0.382 retracement. If it does look to extend out deeper, we have the 50% here at this 27.73 level. So going to be keeping an eye on that zone if we do actually see price move down there, because we also do have a daily naked point of control in this area sitting towards this 27 cent 84 region. So if we do see price come down into this level, we could actually look to, you know, take this out, look to retest this low here, and then look for that continuation. If we are looking at the possibility of a direct breakout from where we are, like I said, where this becomes 1 2, we would not be allowed to lose this low here of this 28.43, and then we'd be looking for this 38.74 as a possible target area here. So this would be looking for a direct push to the upside here. Now I do think that it is more likely that we're going to see continuation down, but we need to just also respect the fact that we could count this 1 2 3 4 5 here. So because of that fact, if we just get a 3-wave move down here and we actually fail to break this 28.43, we could see that potential for an extension. Now, the zone that we'd be looking for as our target for not really losing here, because we don't want to lose this area if we are looking for an impulse, would actually be this 28.86. And I have also included this 28.72, which would be an 8.54. Now, this would be very deep if this is the case, but if we see something like this A, B, C, coming back into this level here, so if I come in a bit closer here, this 29.21 would be a golden pocket area to this 29.14. Lower down, we have the 7.86 at this 2.872, and then the 50% would actually be higher up here. But if this is going to be ABC, I would be expecting the potential to come down a little bit lower here, possibly into that golden pocket zone, before looking for that possibility of continuation up. Now, once again, like I said, you know, we could see this develop where this is actually A, this is B, and then we see this as a C wave to the downside, and we see price come back down here. We're gonna have to keep an eye on this until we actually break back above this high here. You know, we need to just be on the lookout that we could start to see this move to the downside. The key zone here is going to be this 25.22 if we're looking for that bullish potential here, as well as that, you know, we have this 786 lower down here, which I've got a target box over here, which has some interesting levels. So we have our current monthly naked point of control in here, current weekly naked point of control, as well as that we have a daily naked point of control. And this sits between this 26.39 to this 25.98 level. So going to be keeping an eye on this area. If we do see a deeper retracement, this could be quite an interesting zone to keep an eye on as price moves down. Okay, so now we're going to come over here and we're actually going to go on to the daily CPR. So what we can see here on the daily, I'm just confirming that, yep. So on the daily, we've actually moved up already to this S2 line here, and now we're finding support temporarily on this S1 line here. If we do see price look to break to the downside, I'd be looking for the potential of coming back into these central CPR lines between this 29.09 and this 28.98 level if we're looking for that potential of continuation up. So this would be looking at this as 1, 2, and then looking for that possibility to push to the upside. Alternatively, if we do start to break down deeper, what we do have here is the R1 line at this 28.32, the R2 line, which is an interesting one because of the structure here at this 27.72. We have the R3 at this 26.99, and then we have the R4 lower down here towards this 26.40 region. So I would be keeping an eye on these as price develops here. If we see price start to break down in a bigger way, potentially we could look to actually move down towards some of those CPR lines. So now looking at the weekly CPR, what we can see is that we actually came up here and we hit this S2 line again, effectively forming a double top here. Now, if we do see price come back down here and we manage to find support, we could actually look for price to move up to this S3 line, which is sitting at this 32-cent region. So you keep an eye on this if we do see price continue to the upside to see how we react around this level. These are just pivot points, so sometimes we can see price pivot between these. And what I would be looking for here is if we do look to break down again, and we're looking for that possibility of that 1, 2. I'd be looking to see how we react between this 27.11 and this 26.44 level. That would be coming back into these weekly CPR lines here. Now, these will get a new set printed as of tomorrow morning, so we'll have to see where the new ones are. If we did see a much deeper breakdown here, we have the 24.60 and the 23.05 lower down here, as well as this 20.85. So it just levels to keep in mind. Now, going over here onto the monthly, what we can see is that price is actually coming back up to this R3 line now. We have met all the targets for this month. So what I'm looking for here is if we do continue to reject off this zone, this could actually indicate we could see price start to fall away from these levels, and we could see a deeper move to the downside for that fifth wave. But, you know, we also need to be on the lookout that if we do continue to push up here, possibly we could look to retest this R2 line here at this 32.40 and this R1 line here at this 34.49 throughout the period of this month. And we do have these central lines sitting here towards this 37.33. Now within that bullish case, potentially what you could argue is that if we're looking for that idea of that bigger flat correction here, what we could see is price get moved back up into these S lines here, where we look for a target of this S1 at this 39.88, this 42.34, and this higher region here of this 44.89 region. So going to be keeping an eye on this. If we do see price break to the upside here, these could be some key levels that we need to keep. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. Everyone have a great day. See you in the next one. Take care.